This is Chintan Patel and welcome back to the video lecture series of the Fundamentals of Machine Design. In this lecture, we will see the few procedure to solve the examples for the knuckle joint. So, first of all, before starting this lecture, you must have seen my previous lecture in which I have discussed each and every steps to design a knuckle joint. So, we are going to follow that procedure and I will explain each and every step first, then I will explain the steps or the design procedure to solve these examples. This type of examples can be asked in your examination in 7 marks, and that's why these are very important as per your examination point of view. So let's get started with the first slide where we will see the basic example procedure of the knuckle joint, and first we will see the design sketch of the knuckle joint. So this is the two different views of the knuckle joint, and if you want to see the exploded view, it looks like this, where you will find each and every components which are required to be designed as per our syllabus. So there are different components. For example, there is one single eye which is having only one flat components, as well as there is two double eye where you will see there are two different parts of that component, and whenever we assemble single eye and the double eye, then you will find there is a through hole to insert a knuckle pin inside it, and the knuckle pin is inserted within those double and the single eye through hole. Now to make this, to ascertain that this assembly does not remove itself, then you will have to apply the collar and the split pins to avoid the removal of the knuckle pin from the assembly. By the application of the collar and the split pin, you will ensure that your assembly is not going to get disassemble itself. Okay, so this type of different methodologies are used to assemble the knuckle joint, and these components are going to be designed in our design procedure of the knuckle joint, which we have already discussed in the previous lecture. So let's get started with the first step, that is the failure of the rod in tension. So basically the knuckle joints are used to join two different rods. So let's say the diameter of the rod is small d, and you want to join this diameter of the rod with the different kind of another rod like this. Okay, so whenever you want to join two different rods using the knuckle joint, there is a common factor or the common force which can be applied on the knuckle joint, that is the tensile force or a tensile force. Okay, so whenever this type of a force P is applied on the body or on the rod is likely to fail due to the tension failure or the tension stress, and that's why we will utilize the equation of the tension stress, that is sigma T equals to P upon pi by 4 d square, where d is the diameter of the rod. From this equation, whenever you are applying this equation, you will find the value of sigma T and P from the given data of the example, and that's why the only unknown in this equation will be D, which can be calculated using your calculators. So that's why you can be easily calculate the diameter D, and this diameter will be converted into the standard diameter as per the procedure. Now we will see few empirical relations which will be helpful to determine the dimensions of the other components. For example, the first component is the diameter of the knuckle pin. So we are inserting the pin which is having the cylindrical shape, and that's why the diameter of the knuckle pin is important to calculate, which is represented by the D suffix P. So dP is equals to D. That is the first empirical relation, that we are using the diameter of the knuckle pin is equals to diameter of the rod, which is not necessary. We are assuming that this is the same diameter as the rod diameter, but it is not necessary for the each and every design that we are using the same diameter for every application. It depends upon the application, and based on the application we can vary that diameter and change the assumption, and that's why it is very important that we are using this assumption or the empirical relation. That's why we will have to check whether our design is safe or our assumptions are working for our real condition or not. Okay, so we will check whether the diameter of the knuckle pin head is viable or not. So diameter of knuckle pin head is represented by the DH, which can be calculated as a 1.5 D, Now inserting the value of the diameter d, you will be able to calculate the diameter of the knuckle pin head, that is dh. Then the diameter of the single eye, the diameter of the single eye is represented by the capital D, and that is the capital D this much, and this is the diameter of the double eye also. So you can say that simply this is the diameter of the eye. Okay, so capital D is equals to 2D, which is also very simple. The thickness of the single eye is T, represented by the T, this much amount of thickness. This vertical thickness is single eye thickness T. This thickness is represented by the 1.25 times D. Now if you insert the value of D, then you will be able to calculate the thickness of the single eye. Now the thickness of the fork. Now this is the another representation for the double eye. This is the double eye notation. Fork is also known as a double eye. Okay, so double eye or a fork thickness is represented by the T1, that is nothing but the 0.75 times D. Now the thickness of the knuckle pin head, that is T2 equals to 0.5 D. So these are the empirical relations using which we will be able to calculate the dimensions of each and every components. Now we will have to check whether our component is safe or not, and that's why first of all we will find the diameter of the knuckle pin in shear, and we will see that whether it is safe or not. So knuckle pin may fail due to the shear like this. This is the failure of the knuckle pin, and as you can see the knuckle pin is failing at the two different point, and that's why we can say that this is the double shear condition or the double shear phenomena, and that's why we will utilize this equation where the area is multiplied with the 2, where the area is multiplied with the 2 because of the double shear. Now in this equation we know the value of P, we have calculated the value of dP using the empirical relation, then we will be able to calculate the tau, that is shear stress, and compare it with the allowable shear stress which was given in the given data. So if your shear stress, calculated shear stress, is less than the allowable shear stress, then you can say that your design is safe. And if it is not, then your design needs a further calculation or reformation, or we need to redesign the component using your basic equations. So this is the procedure of step number 2. Now we will see that in step number 3, what we are going to do, that we are going to consider the failure of the single eye in tension. So the failure of the single eye in tension will cause the failure in this manner, and that's why the resisting area is represented by this hatch line. This area needed to be calculated using this equation, that is the D minus dP into T. Now if you calculate the value of sigma T, then it should be less than the given value, otherwise it will not be able to sustain the load during the working condition. Next step is the step number 4, that is the failure of the single eye in shear. The failure of the single eye in shear will look like this, and that's why this red zone will be the area which is going to fail due to the external force, and that's why the shear failure should be considered using this equation. Whenever you consider this equation, then you know the value of D and dP using the empirical relation. We have the value of T, we have the value of P, then you can directly compare the value of shear stress with the allowable shear stress, and if it is less than the allowable shear stress, then you can say that your design is safe against the shear. Okay. Now we will see another step, that is the failure of the single eye in crushing. The failure of the single eye in crushing would look like this, where the projected area should be considered, and the projected area is represented by the rectangle like this, and the rectangular area is dP into T. Now if you compare the crushing stress with the allowable crushing stress, it should be less than the given data, otherwise it will not be safe for your material. Okay, now we will see the actual examples using those equations. So these are those equations for the double eye or the fork, where a fork is used for the double eye, and these are the similar equation. The only change is that we are multiplying the area with the 2, and in place of the T we are using the T1. So 2 T1 is introduced in place of the T, and the rest of the equation is the same. Now we will see the actual example of the knuckle joint. The data of the actual example is written in the blue font. So as you can see, the data itself indicate that the design a knuckle joint to connect the two rods subjected to 63 kilonewton. So the nature of the force is not provided, and that's why we will take it as a tensile force by default. Now allowable stress in the tension, shear and crushing are 80 megapascal, 56 megapascal and 80 megapascal. So each and every stress are given in megapascal, which is nothing but the Newton per mm square. So Newton per mm square are the different stresses, and using those stresses we will be able to calculate the dimension of the knuckle joint. So first step is to calculate the diameter of the rod using the failure of the rod in tension. So we have already seen the procedure. We need to just put the value of sigma t and p, then you will be able to calculate the diameter d by making it subject and convert it into the standard form. So the answer of the diameter of the rod will comes out to be 32 mm. So using this diameter, we will be able to use the empirical relation to find the different types of the dimension of components. So first our assumption or the empirical relation is dp. dp is nothing but the d, and that's why dp answer is 32. We have the value of thickness of single eye, that is 1.25 times d, and it will give you the answer of 40 mm. The thickness of fork is represented by the T1, which is nothing but the 24 mm. Diameter of the eye is 2D, and which is 64 mm. Diameter of pin head is DH, that is 48 mm, and pin head thickness is T2, that is 16 mm. So we have calculated each and every dimension based on the assumption or the empirical relation. Then we will have to calculate or ascertain whether these dimensions are safe or not. And that's why we will the rest of the procedure of the example will be to ensure whether our design is safe or not. So let's get started with the second point, that is second step is the failure of the knuckle pin in shear. So if you want to consider the shear failure, then it would look like this, and we know that there are two double shear phenomena, and that's why we are multiplying the area with the 2, and by putting the values that was calculated using the empirical relation, we can calculate the answer of the shear stress and compare it with the given value, which will give you the answer as safe. Now our design is safe during the shearing of the pin, and now we will check whether our single eye is safe or not. So in tension, the failure of the single eye would look like this. Now using the equation of the tensile stress, we will be able to calculate the tensile stress as a 49.22, which is compared with the given value of 80 megapascal, and that's why our dimension D is safe. So similarly, we will be able to calculate the another safe or not formula, that is the fourth point, failure of the single eye in shear. The shear occurs in this manner, and that's why we can easily calculate the answer as a 49.22 mm, which is less than the given answer, and that's why our dimension is safe against the shear. So we will be able to now calculate the rest of the equation of the single eye, that is crushing. Due to crushing, we will utilize this equation dp into t, where each and every dimension is calculated using the empirical relation, and your answer comes out to be 49.22, which is less than the given answer, and that's why our design is safe against the crushing. Now those steps contains only single eye calculation. Now we are going to utilize a double eye calculation, but the double eye calculations can be done using the small alteration in the equation of the single eye, that we are going to introduce 2t1 in place of t1. So we are going to use 2t1 in place of t1, and the rest of the equation of the single eye will be utilized for the double eye, because there are two different eyes or two different paths, or we can say that two different folds of the double eye, and for the single eye there is only one, and that's why we are going to use the 2 times t1 thickness of the double eye. So if you utilize this equation, then you will see that there will be the sigma c, sigma t and tau value as a 41 megapascal similar. And if you compare with the given value, then you will find that those values are less than the given value, and that's why our design is safe against the tension, crushing and shear. So this was the end of our example. Those examples are really easy. If you understand the procedure and remember that procedure during the example, then it will be really easy for you to calculate this type of example, because most of the answers are predictable and you will be able to understand whether your answer is correct or not. So keep practicing this type of example, because it can be asked in your examination into 7 marks. So we conclude our lecture over here. Thank you.